Always good to talk to our mate, Mark Dolan, who is in the United Kingdom for us. You can find his own YouTube page, find him on TalkTV. And yes, in the middle of the night, I will be watching him, taking calls and talking about lots of live events as they happen. He joins us now. Great man, lovely to see you. Of course, yeah, former Prince Andrew, we're still back there. Where are we a couple of days on? Because still no charge, really important for people to know, still no charge. And obviously everything to this point has turned around and said that, no innocence, no guilt, nothing to see here. But where are we a couple of days on? And is there an expectation that police are ramping things up, or they're starting to go a bit cold again?
Well, the problem you've got is that this is a car crash in slow motion, Paul. There is an ongoing police investigation, well reported, of course, on your channel, that he was arrested early morning on the Sandringham estate, taken into a cell, accommodated at His Majesty's pleasure, asked about a possible set of circumstances in which he was responsible for misconduct in public office. This could take years. So the problem you've got is the headlines aren't going to go away. The scandal isn't going to go away. And in terms of any new developments, well, a fresh headache for the King, Paul, because there are now questions being asked about how much he knew. It's very important, if the King is going to survive and preserve the monarchy, which is the #1 job of any king or queen, well, he's going to have to demonstrate that he knew nothing about what his brother was up to. But unfortunately, the Mail on Sunday have had an exclusive in which they've revealed that the monarch was warned, Paul, as long ago as 2019, that the royal family's name was being used and abused by Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's business associations. You've also got the small matter of that cheque for approximately $20 million, potentially paid for by the Queen, to avoid a court trial with Virginia Giuffre, Andrew's sex accuser. So the big problem now is where the boss stands on this one. And Charles is going to have to absolutely demonstrate that he was ignorant of everything that Andrew was up to. And how can that be credible?
Well, and also the conversations in and around the investigation that are starting to say, well, obviously, potentially, every security person around him, every private secretary, potentially a whole bunch of sort of email trove that goes up and into the institution, of which you would imagine as a public institution, even if they want to get into the world of deleting, I wouldn't imagine it's something they're able to do. But also Gordon Brown, and I want to bring this to people's attention in Australia, that I know this was something that sort of came and went over the weekend, but he was right in the heart of Tony Blair's government, and of course took over after Tony Blair, during the time when all of this was alleged to be going on. He certainly was the trade envoy, that being Prince Andrew, all the way up till 2010 here.
2011.
2011. He's starting to say there could be some potential national security things which may well have gone across his desk and potentially ended up with the old CC or the BCC off to somebody else. That is extraordinary. To literally have the person who, technically on some levels is acting as the superior in that role, trying to point in that direction, surely somebody even like Gordon Brown doesn't make stuff up like that in public.
Most definitely. There's also an allegation that RAF jets were used to fly Jeffrey Epstein into the United Kingdom. That's not been stood up yet, but it's an allegation facing Andrew, and therefore is another problem for the royal family, for the monarchy. All of this is a tipping point now, and you've got an issue. We live in a culture, Paul, where in politics and in business, the boss takes the hit. Even if an underling is responsible for doing something wrong, the buck stops with you. Now, historically, the king, the queen has always been untouchable, but it's a different world. And it's very existential for the king, I think, at some point. This is going to be death by 1,000 cuts. As I've said, the allegations are going to keep on coming. We've got 3 million files related to this latest cache of Epstein documents. So it's going to be a painful and slow process. And the king is going to have to act. Lots of people, Paul, are saying that he should do a video address to the nation, explaining that he's very concerned about these allegations. We've had a statement, but does he need to eyeball the public and really demonstrate some accountability? And what about those bodyguards? What about the butlers? What about the management of the firm? It's really, really problematic. It's priced in that Andrew is done. He's toast. He's lost the titles. He's going to see out his days on the Sandringham estate, and if not, in jail. The big thing now is whether you can save the reputation of the royals around him.